Hello and welcome back to another video on assessing or reviewing our losses. So today we're going to be going over my Asian session trade from the 24th of June 2020. So I took buys, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go from the very start and we're going to break it down, why I took the trade, how I could have made it better, etc. So first of all, we can establish that this area here is a very strong resistance. We can also establish that this area here is a very strong support. So I had to put conditions on what I would look for and what I would do. So I said for sells, we would want to see a break below this area here, which would mean we'll be getting below this wick, which I think was the hourly wick, for price to continue down with the clean traffic to the left. So that was our condition for sales, unless obviously of course price comes and breaks support by closing below, then the higher probability trade would be once we break the low of that candle, then we should head down. So that's for sales. If I run you through what I was going to look for buys. So for buys, it got a little bit trickier because obviously we've got this wick here to the left and we have this very strong resistance area here, right? So I knew that for a buy opportunity, we needed to see a close in this area, because the last time that price came into this area, we rejected from it, and which is what we saw with these candles here, with their wicks. So buys were difficult. So what ended up happening was Asian Open came in, so we have resistance, and then actually what happened was price broke out of resistance, right? So what I noticed at the time was that we had this breakout candle and we actually got above this wick here to the left, right? Now my condition was, as long as I see a close, then now the probability of us heading up is a lot higher. So for me to tick this off in terms of probability, I can say that right now that this candle is closed above resistance, now I can say that there's, say, a 70% chance that we're going to come up. Now, the extra confirmation that I also got at the time was we got above the wick to the left. So now we're starting to look at maybe there is a high chance that we are going to come up to this next resistance area here. So my last condition for this buy to work, considering that we stayed above this resistance with this next 30 minute, if we break the high of this, then now this is the most highest probable to continue moving up with the clean traffic to the left. So what ended up happening was the candle closed like a strong bullish close, but in a terms of a review, if we look at the way how it reacted to this price area, we could say that yeah, it closed above, but looking back, it didn't like this price at that particular moment in time. So because it kind of pulled away from it, we would have needed to have seen a break of this high, because if we were coming down and this was going to be a fake out, we shouldn't really be getting above this wick, but we did, and I ended up executing a buy, but price came right and started drawing down. So I kind of thought, because we've broken the high over here, I'm going to give this a chance to keep pushing up, as this was the close of the 30 minute, the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So I thought maybe if we're going to get momentum in the market, this would be the prime time. So I waited through all of this, waited for the break, waited for the bottom wick of the next 30 minute to indicate that we aren't gonna come and fall back in this range. And then once we broke the high, I would say that I was confident that potentially we're going to come up and retest this. Unfortunately, this trade didn't play out. I ended up closing full positions once this candle closed like a weak bullish, as explained. But I think if we go to how I could have made this trade better, potentially had I waited for this candle to close, then I would have seen that we aren't now breaking above this area, because although we've broken the high, look how the candle is now closed. So for us to continue moving bullish, we're going to need to break these highs again to continue moving up, which we couldn't do at that area. Now, I know and I understand that obviously I don't execute based on a close, but because of the way that it tapped into this price and pulled back from it, I should have maybe taken the safer bet that we need to see maybe a close in this area more to confirm that this is no longer a rejection, because as you can see, it now started to come back into this range here. So it kind of it was a fake out, and it did tap into these wicks and reject. So I think the better buy would have been to wait for this candle to close, or even, to be honest, the way the buys were structured, this was risky. This was a very unpredictable area. So maybe looking back, when we have wicks like this and we have a close, but we can't quite close like within the full range of the wick, like this is a close above and it did break resistance, but it's a pretty weak close in terms of invalidating this as a rejection, because as you can see, the way the next bullish candle closed, this is looking back on it, any say we couldn't get a candle close above this area. So we had all of this where price tapped into to pull away from, and obviously it's never a definitive number. It could tap into anywhere in this area and pull away from, because the most recent data and history of the chart shows us the last time price came into this area, this was clearly a better sell-off zone. So why would for buys to work, we would have to see candles closing in this area? But I think personally, really looking back, it's probably a no trade area. I mean, this area here is 100% a no trade area. But above, if we maybe got a close above this level, then maybe we could say, we should look to come up. So maybe it would have been better to wait for a close in this area. But the way that these wicks started forming did look like the bullish momentum was running out of steam. So I think that's a good review. I think probably wouldn't take this similar setup when there's indecision like this. Although you could say in this area here, this candle done the same thing. But I suppose we did get below this area here, and we did start breaking the lows and continuing. So, I mean, here we just couldn't. We didn't have enough to get up. So, I think for the next time we see a setup like this, maybe wait for a better close. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna just call it there. But thank you for listening. I hope anyone else who was in buys or maybe was looking for similar entries as me can now understand maybe why this wasn't the best setup. I think overall sales were the best opportunity had we have came down straight away, but because we broke up, I don't think we quite got the same push down. So yeah, let's see what happens the rest of the week. Hopefully I'll have no more losses for the rest of the week, but if we do, that's just part of the plan and the process. So I hope everyone has a good week, and let's stay disciplined.